And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
Shit about anybody but themselves. The end. And it's fucking sad, but it's true. You know? And forgive me for being so candid about it, but anybody who leaves an animal out, they should get the same due penalty. Why don't we pull the old, what was it, Creep Show, Mike? Let's take that guy and bury him up to his head in the sand and let the tide come in. How's that?
How great with, dude? I'm so glad you brought up that movie. I was just thinking about that movie the other day.
How's that
was
sound?
badass.
And sorry about the personal shit I just disclosed, but a piece of shit is a piece of shit.
No, listen, bro. I get it. And again, when I think about when you feel bad for people that are losing their houses, but some animal just like chains another living being to a tree to drown. Like, what the? Anyway, little wrestling talk, something that got you a little triggered earlier this week.
Triggered my ass. I knew what you were doing. I willfully played along, you motherfucker.
SmackDown viewership when Jinder Mahal was world champions was 2.546 million. SmackDown viewership under Cody Rhodes as champion is 1.4. Cody Rhodes is one of the lowest drawing world champions in WWE history. Thoughts on that, Mr. Farrow?
Well, here it is, because you gave me the only thing I needed to do. Quote you. Cody Rhodes is champion during the most successful time period in the history of pro wrestling. Wait, ... Isn't it amazing how you can spin it any way you want it to make your agenda work for you? Brilliant. Mike, brilliant. Brilliant. Because, yes, when I read it on the surface, I'm right back at the Barclays. I'm right back with 20,000 people watching Nakamura get pinned, and everybody wants to just take a dump on their chair. I mean, I was just like, what the fuck did you do? It was bad enough that SummerSlam also, by the way, Vince gave us Dean Ambrose versus, I think, John Cena. This was the worst 8 minutes of wrestling you could possibly imagine. People were like, Stinkfest. Absolute stinkfest.
I don't remember that at all. Really,
I think Baron Corbin came out and bought us for 10 minutes. I mean, that card that night. And I remember at the train station afterwards watching people were miserable. It was like they had been to a Jet game.
Yeah.
You know? It was like one of those sorts of things. And by the way, can we get it in real quick? So long, Robert Saleh, with your pretty eyelashes. Get the fuck out of here.
Best thing that happened this week.
And I just got a flash across my screen, Mikey. You'll be happy to hear this. Nathaniel Hackett has been demoted, and the offensive line coach now is the play caller.
Which surprises me because... You know, since his firing, everybody's blaming our boy Rodgers. And by the way,
which is a joke.
But wait a minute. But you did say this to me on the phone, and you were right.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is playing every bit of a 41-year-old. It's over already.
Well, right? Okay. Right now, yes. He has been, because he has done what even the greatest veteran. Listen. In the middle lies the truth, okay? It is not true that Aaron Rodgers runs everything that goes on with the Jets. It's also not true that Aaron Rodgers has no say. So what I think is in the middle, like any great professional would, and I do believe he did, he came in and gave Robert Saleh and the rest of the coaching staff every benefit of the doubt. He is now 5 games into a season where he has shown that no, he is not currently Aaron Rodgers, but if he can free up the things that are bothering him about the coaching staff, then maybe he can get to where we expect him to get to. And I still think that might come into play. Robert Saleh was what I called boo-boo face. And it's funny now, I've been saying this for years, but now all of a sudden everybody's saying what I've been saying for years. Robert Saleh cannot adjust. He doesn't know what an adjustment is. Okay, halftime comes and there's never an adjustment. He doesn't know how to clock manage. By the way, that's my #1 pet peeve. with a coach. If you don't know how to clock manage, you are not a coach.
Look,
The
great.
great,
Listen,
yeah,
great defensive coordinator, terrible head coach. There's
that's all
plenty of
he
those.
is.
That's
That's
it.
right. And there's a huge, and that's why when I hear, which of course there's some truth to it, but when I hear that Tom Brady won all of those Super Bowl rings with the Patriots without the aid of Bill Belichick, bullshit. Because Belichick was a great defensive mind. Bill Parcells was a great defensive mind. Okay, but what they also were overseers of everything. And you could tell that with Salah, he only saw defense. He never saw everything. Even Rex in his first 2 years with the Jets saw everything
Well,
before it became a clown
to be
show.
fair, the problem with the Jets is they continually hire defensive head coaches. You need an offensive
Well,
head
Adam
coach.
Gase was not a defensive coach, and
Oh,
how
well,
did
you know
that
what?
turn
That
out?
was a whole mess. You know what, dude?
Right,
Here's the
right,
reality of it, man.
right.
And I gotta say it. I was driving home from vacation. I'm listening to the game. Even when I'm listening to the radio and they're marching down at the end of the game, I knew it was over. They were not
Of
winning
course.
that game. And you
No,
know what? Here's the
no,
reality
they're
of it,
not.
dude. As a Jet fan, we're playing for first place on Monday night, and guess what?
Right.
We're not winning. And you know what? Look, dude, I am so down on New York sports.
Should
Again,
be.
everybody's
You
yipping and
should be.
jumping around. We beat Kansas City last night, the Yankees. The great Aaron Judge
Is doing
cannot
nothing.
hit. He's
Is
garbage. And I
doing
heard you with
nothing.
Benny last week, and you hit it on the head. He
Yeah.
has to make his mud in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
guess what?
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
he is? He's an
Yeah.
overrated Henry Lundqvist. That's
And
what
it's
he is.
and it's funny too because I have been on record as saying quite quietly, but Benny can back me, and I'm sure you've heard it from me that Giancarlo Stanton, when he's on the field, especially in the playoffs, is clutch.
And you know I'm a Stanton guy. I have always been. So
I'm
it's like
not a Stanton guy, but I do pay attention, and I always notice that when things count the most, if he's on the field, he's good.
they said it last night.
So
He's
yeah,
got the best home run
yeah,
playoff ratio
yeah.
next
He's
to
he's
Babe Ruth.
he's well. I won't go that he hasn't.
No,
He has a much smaller.
that was a stat they
Right,
said
but it's
last
just,
night.
but it's a very small sample
Yeah,
compared to Ruth's
right.
whole.
I
You
understand.
understand what I'm saying? Ruth did this from 1920 to 1935. You know what I mean? Playoffs. Um, Aaron Judge has to hit, obviously, but you know what shouldn't be lost here either? The fact that, and I love these guys, well, I love one of them. Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon gave us absolutely nothing in those first two starts. We had to use the entire bullpen,
Mhm.
okay, both times. That can't happen either. You understand? And what
Listen,
worries
Jimmy,
me,
you can't
yeah,
get excited about a team that played a lower level team who played straight a whole entire month, and we could
right,
barely squeak by. The
right,
great Yankees,
right.
dude. Like,
Well, they're not great anymore. The Yankees have been very good for about 15 years.
yeah, but dude, Houston's
That's all
out.
they are.
You've got now
They're the
Detroit is going to
Cowboys.
be in there. Detroit,
Hmm.
we're going to be playing Detroit if
Right,
we can make it here. If we
right,
can't make it to the World Series, are you
right.
kidding me?
Well,
But you're not
Brian,
going to make it to the World Series with that clown Judge striking out every
no,
time at bat.
no, you're not. And I'll tell you the bigger reason why you're not. You remember Mr. May, right? You
Yep.
know who Mr. May was, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Dave Winfield during the regular season was majestic. He gave us 35, 110 every year. But he goes 1 for 22 in the World Series. And the only reason they got to the World Series was his Aaron Judge doesn't have Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson was on that team. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that. Aaron Judge has to step the fuck up. If Alex Rodriguez never had that 2009 season postseason, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Mhm.
If he never had that, then he would have been the absolute biggest loser. He would have surpassed poor Dave Winfield. You know, so Judge has to wake the fuck up and now. And you know what I suggest Judge do? Instead of trying to hit a home run, why don't we get back to basics and hit it up the middle?
Or how about take a walk? How about that? Do
Well,
something.
oddly enough, he did take a walk in the game one that they won 6-5, and he scored a run.
Hmm.
But that's not what we want him for. You know it,
Ah,
and I know
you
it.
know what?
We don't want him for that.
Football
We want him
season
to be two
over,
for
baseball
four.
season over. I'm so done with
You
the
know.
whole thing, dude.